Okay, so we're going to use the trouser block, easy fitting trouser block that we just drafted, to turn them into dungarees. So this is the front. So ideally you'd have a body block which you could just then match the waistline. You'd need to straighten up the centre front line, which is what we're going to do anyway. Match the centre front line, and then you could use measurements from that. I haven't got a basic block for a size 12, which is roughly what this is, so I'm going to just kind of use some basic measurements to find a shoulder line. Because the strap goes over the shoulder, we can extend the strap to make it adjustable so that it fits. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my pattern master along this centre line, which is my waistline and centre line on my pattern master, and just straighten up that centre front line, okay, and extend it, okay. And then I'm going to carry that on a bit further. And then if you think this is all I've done is tape this trouser block to a piece of paper, and this is my actual waistline here, okay. So from that line I'm going to measure up the shoulder to waist measurement for a size 12, which is 41.4 centimeters. So that's the longest point on the front body. So from the top of the shoulder next to the neck down to the waistline. So that's 41.4. And then I'm going to square across here. Okay. And then we need to find where the side of the neck is and then a shoulder measurement. So to get to the side of the neck, we're going to measure, we're going to divide the bust size, which in this case is 92 centimeters, and we're going to divide that by 12. So get my calculator. So 92 divided by 12 is 7.6. 7.6 is there. And then also I'm going to go from the centre front line and mark a point which is half the cross chest measurement, okay, because that will give me roughly the width of the front of the body, okay. So a cross chest for this person is 33.6. So cross chest 33.6. So I'm dividing in my head and not using the calculator. 33.6 divided by 2 is 16.8. So along that top line, I'm just going to measure across 16.8. And then I'm going to come down, because your shoulder line is always at an angle, I'm going to just come down about 3.5 centimetres and mark in a mock shoulder line, okay? And we'll use that later on when we get the back to create the back shoulder strap and everything, okay. So that's roughly kind of the length of the body from the shoulder to the waistline, and then we need to sort out doing this area of the front of the dungarees. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to measure down 3.5 centimeters from the waistline to create a waistband, and rather than putting it above the waistline, which is what you normally do on a pair of trousers, if we were making just a pair of trousers, we'd add a waistband on. But because we want them to be kind of low slung and sloppy looking, which is what dungarees look like usually, I'm dropping it down below. So this will be a separate piece that we cut, which will be our waistband, okay. And then, but going back to my waistline and measuring up, we're going to create the bib, and I'm going to go up 23 centimeters. And then I'm going to square across about 13.5 centimeters, okay. And then from there we will then shape here in a moment, but this is our front of our bib basically, okay. And then I'm going to jump back down to the lower part. I'm jumping around a bit, I'm sorry. That's kind of the shape, the starting point of our bib, but now I need to just mark on the pocket so that I can get a line from here. Actually, I could probably do it from there because she's straight. Let's go straight from there. Okay, so we've gone up there, we've come across here, and then the next step we can join the top of our waistline to the top of our bib. Now that'd be a bit of a weird shape, to be completely honest, so I'm going to really curve that in, okay. So we're going to create, I don't think I've even got a curve on anything, but oh, that might do it. There we go, that will do it. A lovely curve like that, okay, and that's the side of our bib. And then on the front of the bib we need to mark a pocket. So I'm going to come down about 5 centimetres. I'm going to square out to about 9 centimetres and then square down. We'll go to 15 and square across. And then you can create a pocket shape, whatever pocket shape you want, really. I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do that, leave it square, but then I'm just going to come and just knock off the corner like that, so I end up with a shaped one. I might come back to it later and do a curve. I don't know at the moment, but we've got a shape there in theory. Okay, and that's our pocket, front pocket. It's a patch pocket on the front of your dungarees. And then I'm going to mark side pockets. So mark a point on the bottom of the waistband, which is 7.5 centimetres over, and then I'm going to come down the side seam approximately 15 centimetres and then join those 2 points, and that will be your pocket opening there. Okay, but because I've got this nice curve here, I think I'll also do that as a curve. Just going to shape that like that. I'm then going to mark a point which is 2.5 centimetres above there, which will be where the trousers are joined to. So from here upwards we'll have 3 buttonholes. Well, on this side we'll have buttonholes, and then on the other side, on the back, we'll have buttons, but the trousers will be joined to that point there. Okay, all right. And then I'm just going to draw in all of these things. I'm going to draw in on here, and this is kind of acting like a master, but I'm going to actually use this as a pattern. Draw them on here, and then what I'll do is I'll trace them off again afterwards, because we're ending up with like quite a few pieces here. So I'm just going to come across. So I'm using that centre line, and I'm using the crutch line roughly to create the shape for a pocket bag. So a pocket bag will do something like that. I'll come down a little bit lower like that. Okay. And then the last thing I'm going to mark on is, it's quite common to have like a false fly marked on. Now I'm not going to cut this out. I'm just going to mark it because you just top stitch it basically on the left side of the body once it's wearing, or left side wearing, just so that it gives the illusion of a fly. So that's what I would do there. Pocket, we need to think about whether we're going to put facing on the inside of the pocket bag there. We've got the pocket bag and we've got the piece where the buttonholes are going to be. The strap we will do when we get to doing the back, but that is our front piece done. Okay. Okay, so I've traced the back again, just the top part, stuck it to the trouser. You can just see where it's sitting underneath, but just to make it a bit clearer, I just thought I'd trace it off. And then what we're going to do to turn the back trouser into dungarees is I'm just going to, and this is going to be a bit of a, let's just find that centre line again, and then coming off there, I'm just going to square across from there to hit that point which is at the centre back, because then I'm going to mark across 1.5 centimetres, and that's where we want to then go straight up. Okay, so if you've got a body block that you've made that is size 12, you would go up straight up from there. Okay, it means I'm going to reshape my back for the 3rd time, but that's fine. I can do that. I can just reshape that top area there, and then it's going to come up to centre back like that. Okay, and then measure up my nape to waist, which is 41.4. So it's 40, and then just add on 1.4. Just going to bring this all down a little bit so you can see better, and then square across like we did. This is exactly what I was doing on the front. Okay, so I'm going to square across, and then I'm going to use that measurement. It was the 12th of the bust measurement divided by 12, which is 7.6, and then to find the side of my neck. And then I'm going to come across, and I'm going to go up, sorry, because your neck sits, because your back, it sits high, that's to your nape. You've got to go to the highest point, which is on your side of your neck. So I'm going to go up 2.5 centimetres, and then we're going to then go measure from that point across. We're going to do the half cross back. So the cross back measurement for this person is 35.4. So 35.4 divided by 2 is 17.7. 17.7, which is, I'm measuring it down there, 17.7, which is there. And then I'm going to come down by about a centimetre, just 1.3 centimetres, and then I'm going to join those two together, and that's my back. I did that a bit ad hoc, but yeah, that's fine. And then that's my back shoulder, that would be my neck, back neck, armhole, etc. We don't need to draw all that in. All right, and then what we need to work out is what we want it to look like on the back. So I'm going to have a back that comes together like that and then goes off to the side, and I think we'll just do like a hexagon bit in the middle. Okay, so I'm going to measure down from, excuse me, from the nape. I'm going to come down about 13 centimetres. Okay, so that's going to be the highest point of the back of my dungarees, and then I'm going to come over here by about 7 centimetres. Let's measure down. Let's make this hexagonal 9 centimetres from there. So I've gone down 13, then 9. That's going to be the width of my hexagonal. I'm going to come across at 7 centimetres, and then I'm going to join my side with a curve. Okay, we don't want a huge bit at the back, so that does, if you think that's going to be double, that's quite wide, isn't it? So yeah, I'm quite happy with that. We're going to just come across like that, and then we can then come up and square that across there, and then I think we'll come up, so find the midpoint of that, just to there, and we'll come up 3, come down 3, and we'll do that and that. Okay, and that's our design line. There's no hard and fast rule on this because it's whatever you want it to look like at the back, really. You could just have straps coming all the way down, I suppose, but I'm going to just put that bit in there, and then that's going to be a seam up there. There won't be a seam here, so this will be cut on the fold. That'll be a separate section, but this bit will come here, and then we've just got to do the strap to come over the shoulder. Okay, I'm going to rub that one out. Okay, and then the only other thing I want to put on here is I'd quite like to put a pocket on, so I'm going to come down 7 centimetres from the waistline of the trouser, and I'm going to mark a line across. There's no waistband on the back of the trouser, back of the dungarees, and then I'm going to find a midpoint, so it's there, and then I'm going to make the pocket so that it is about 14 centimetres wide, so I'm going to mark 7 centimetres on either side, square down, and then the pocket width, well, make that so we want to make that about 16 centimetres deep, so we'll just square that. Like that, and then as I did on the front, I'm going to just shape the pockets in the same way. Okay, so that's where my pocket is going to sit. And then the last thing we need to do, we need to think about how they're going to fasten at the side. So with the front, we had buttonholes, so we need to make sure it's the same on the back. Or on the back, we need to create a little extension piece to sit behind it, which I would make to be, I think, 3.5 centimetres wide. You can add this on as a separate piece if you want to, or you can cut it with the trouser, and I think that's probably what I will do. I'll cut this all as one piece. So the trouser will come up round here, and then stop where the hexagon is, and then be down the centre back. Okay. I might, when I look at that with my front, I might actually move that down. Okay, so then we've got this, and we just need to know how long it is. I've just drawn a line there, but we just need to know how long the opening on the front is to so we're going to match that up. So it is 16 centimetres to there. Okay, so it will be there, and that's where the side seam will be sewn to. Okay, and then obviously we'll have buttons on there which will marry up with there. They'll actually sit closer to that edge. Okay, and we'll match them up when we make it. And then that's your button stand done. And then the last thing we need to do is the strap. Now, so to create the strap, we need to match the shoulder seams up so that we can draw it on. Because they're not mirrored, they're both the same side, I need to trace what we've got on this side of the paper to this side. Okay, so this is my front. Just going to need you to use a bit of imagination or thought process. This is the top of the bib, and the front, that's my centre front line. And then that was the top neckline, which would look like that if it was a bodice, and that's the shoulder line that we marked on. And then I'm going to lay it over. What I might do is, just so that you can see what I'm doing more easily, I'm going to fold that piece of paper on the shoulder line, and then we're going to match up the edge of the neckline, the shoulder seam, like that. And then I'm going to use tape, put my scissors on it for the minute, and then I'm going to tape it together, hold it in place, and then that gives you an idea of what the shape at the back coming through to the front will look like. Okay, so the width of my strap will be about 4 centimeters wide at the front, and then, but it doesn't have to be, it can be wider than that at the back. We're going to join those 2 points because you think that's where it's going to go over the shoulder, and then it can come right all the way up to there. That looks a bit high. So this is where I then start going, oh, I don't think I want any of that there, so I'm going to change this shape. This could come actually wider and do that. We could actually drop that down. This strap will be fairly straight to there, I think. Actually, no, forget everything. I think I'll keep this line. I like this line going over like that, but I think we'll stick with that one being there. And then you're going to extend that strap. It needs to retain its width, so you need to make sure that it stays at 4. Basically, it needs to be quite a bit longer because you need to allow for the adjustments, etc. Okay, but you need to do this to get the shape of it at this end. It's not so much the shape of it at the front, because you know that's going to be pretty straight, but you need to know what it's going to do here. So that would be a really tight shape to come across. The end of the shoulder is about here, so you need to make sure that it is sitting pretty well central to the shoulder. And then you can reshape this. And I'm actually thinking now that maybe we need to do that with it. But that's something that you can play around with, okay, and get the shape that you want it to be. I could sit here for ages doing this, so it's just me fiddling with it until it gets to what I think it should look like, and then making sure I rub out the lines are the ones that I don't think it should look like. But you know, that width was quite a good starting point, and it's just meant that I need to just adjust it. And maybe use the curves that I have available to get it where I want it to be. So yeah, I think I like that. Which means, and I think I quite like my ruler. I think I'm going to drop the hexagon down to that line, have that strap slightly curved there, and then the hexagon will actually sit here. And then that means that when you cut it, just rub this out so you can see where we are. When you cut all these pieces out, that will be one piece. That's your shoulder strap. That's the hexagon, which we cut on the fold. And then that is your back trouser. Okay, so there's 1, 2, 3 bits there, and the strap will go all the way down to there. You've then got your bib, your front pocket, you've got your back pockets. Yeah, there's quite a few bits to this. When you do your pocket, side pocket on the front, it will be a different shape as well. So I think the next step would be to trace all the bits out so you can see what all the additional pieces, all the pieces are. Okay. Thank you for watching. So I just want to show you finally the pieces that you will cut out for your dungarees. So we have on the bottom here, that's your front panel, okay, for the trousers. And then what you'll see here is that this is the front crutch, this is the front edge of the pocket, and then what would go above that is the bib, and then you'll also have in between the belt, and then what sits under the front is the back pocket bag and the front pocket bag. Okay, so then you see that creates that your whole front there, and then also I cut a buttonhole facing, so that would sit under again. So you end up with quite a lot of layers here, but that's because you need to make that pocket and make sure that you've got that pocket bag. So bib, waistband, front trouser, pocket bag, and button stand, or buttonhole facing, because you're going to put buttonholes in here. You can't just do it through one layer of fabric. You want 2 layers to make it nice and secure. You've also got somewhere, there you go, one last bit is your pocket that's going to sit on the front. And all of these pattern pieces I've added seam allowance to. So I've used a 1/2 inch seam allowance. So that's what that line around the edge of everything is. And then on the bib and the pocket here, you've got a wider seam allowance because you want that to fold over, and then you're going to do a stitch line further down. Okay, so that's the fronts. Those out of the way. And then your back panel. So that's your trouser leg. And then your back panel. That's your crutch over here. And then it goes up to this bit over here. I've used this pattern since I've cut it, and I realised that I need to add another inch onto there, but this piece will do that, and then that's where the buttons are going to go, to where they'll match the buttonholes that go onto the front. So it's your side seam. This line here is my pocket bag, or sorry, pocket placement. So that's my pocket that will go there, and then we have that shape there, which is 1, 2, 3, 4-sided at the moment, but it'll end up being cut on the fold there, so that you'll end up with it's almost like a diamond or a hexagon. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 hexagon shaped piece there. And then out of the top of here comes the strap that goes over the shoulder, and then we'll fasten to the bib at the front. So that's all your pattern pieces. Just thought it's worth you seeing those so you can see what it actually ends up looking like at the end. Okay, so they're all marked, ready to go. I know they're all size 12. I know what the pieces are. And I've marked on the straighter grain as well. And I've marked on the knee line just in case I want to shorten them. It's a good place to shorten or lengthen a pair of trousers is on the knee line. Yeah, and so that's all your pattern pieces. I hope you found this video useful. And if so, please like and subscribe to my channel. Thank you very much. See you in the next video. Happy sewing.